And then the last thing, my must-have for bag makers is Wonder Clips. So this is my little container that I keep on my desk with all my Wonder Clips. These are great for not only for bag making. I use this for holding quilt blocks, like those quilt blocks that I just shared with you when I was holding the fabrics right sides together. I did use my Wonder Clips for that. And they do have markings. I really usually don't use the markings, but they have markings on the bottom for a 1/4 inch and I think 1/2 inch also, in case you need to measure that edge. Perhaps you're working on quilt binding and you need to measure that edge as well. Besides these, I added 2 extra things, kind of bonus things in there. Our seam guide, which Danny's going to put a picture up on the screen of the seam guide. This is just a handy tool for finding seam allowance on your sewing machine, and your needle will just slide into the slot on the right hand side depending on what seam allowance you need. I have a full video demonstrating the seam allowance if you're interested in that, and the link to that seam guide is in the description with the video. And then of course I always get questions about what thread I use, so this is Orfil 40 weight thread. I also have on my machine that I was using earlier 50 weight thread. So the 40 weight thread is thicker and the 50 weight thread is thinner. For my quilt blocks I was using the 50 weight thread right here earlier today. Everyone has their own personal preference with thread, but I wanted to mention what thread I use since I get this question very often. So that is my bag maker's toolkit. Link to all the items is in the description. Maybe you're a beginner bag maker, or you have a friend or family member that would like to get into sewing bags, but they need a few more tools perhaps in their bag making toolkit. All these items are in the description, and of course, like I mentioned earlier, this is not an exhaustive list, but just the things that I for sure have to have on my cutting table before I start working on a bag. I'm Sarah Lawson. Make sure to follow for more of my sewing adventures.